Have you ever witnessed a betrayal so shocking it changes everything? You filthy black maid, you better stay away from my daughter. Evelyn Bington's voice cut through the crisp afternoon like the crack of a whip. The winter sun shimmered on the marble walkway beside the koi pond, but the beauty of the scene shattered under her fury. Maya Williams stood in the garden, gently patting baby Olivia's back. The baby had been coughing moments earlier, milk dribbling from her lips, and Maya instinctively held her upright, tapping her back in slow, steady motions. Olivia gave a small hiccup of relief just as Evelyn appeared. "What are you doing to her?" Evelyn shrieked, striding across the lawn, silk robe billowing, eyes blazing with a strange, desperate intensity. "Give her to me." Before Maya could explain, Evelyn ripped Olivia from her arms. The baby let out a terrified wail, tiny fists clenching. "Don't you ever touch my child again." Evelyn's voice was louder now, deliberately carrying toward the open windows of the house. "I caught you hurting her, trying to make her choke." Maya's eyes widened in shock. "That's not true. She was choking already. I was helping her." Evelyn snapped, stepping closer. "You've been looking for an excuse to get close to her. You think I don't see it? You're here to cause trouble, to take advantage of my family." The words stung. But what made Maya's heart pound wasn't the insult. It was the realization of what this really was. She remembered 2 nights ago walking through the side hall late in the evening to bring in Olivia's bottle. The muffled laughter, the creak of a door, and then Evelyn in a silk slip wrapped in the arms of Richard Hale, Daniel's oldest friend. Evelyn's eyes had locked with hers for a split second. Panic flashing there before the mask dropped. Now Maya understood. This wasn't about Olivia at all. This was about silencing her. "You're lying about me," Maya said quietly, trembling but firm. "Because you know I saw." "Shut your mouth," Evelyn hissed, her face flushing. And with a sudden violent shove, she pushed Maya backward into the koi pond. The freezing water swallowed her, pulling a gasp from her lungs. If you feel for the character in this story, like this video and comment where you are watching from, because maybe someone near you is watching, too. "You worthless black leech," Evelyn shouted, clutching the baby closer. "You're finished here. By tonight, you'll be gone. And if you breathe a word of your lies about me, I'll make sure no one hires you again." Maya hauled herself out of the pond, dripping, shivering. "I've told you I wasn't hurting her," she said weakly. "Save it for someone who cares." Evelyn spat. Heavy footsteps sounded. Daniel Bington appeared, his eyes scanning the scene. His wife with their crying daughter, Maya soaked and trembling. "What happened?" he demanded. "She was holding Olivia and hitting her on the back," Evelyn said quickly. "I caught her hurting our baby." Daniel turned to Maya. "Is that true?" "I was helping her breathe." Daniel cut her off, stepping forward, gripping a fistful of her wet hair. His voice was low, dangerous. "You work for me. You do not touch what isn't yours. Understand?" "Yes, sir," Maya whispered, her heart pounding with helpless rage. "Go inside and change," he ordered coldly. Maya walked away, humiliation burning hotter than the cold. Evelyn's eyes followed her, a faint smile curling at the corner of her lips. Later that evening in Daniel's study, Thomas the butler entered with a tablet in hand. "Sir," he said quietly, "you need to see this garden camera." This afternoon, Daniel frowned and pressed play. The footage showed Maya holding Olivia upright, patting her gently on the back while the baby coughed and sputtered. Olivia soon calmed, Maya smiling and tucking the blanket around her until Evelyn appeared and tore the child away. Daniel's jaw tightened. "She was helping her," he muttered. "Yes, sir," Thomas said. Then he hesitated. "And there's more. One of the staff told me Mrs. Bington has been spending time with Mr. Hale." I don't know if it's true, but Daniel's face hardened, a storm brewing behind his eyes. An hour later, Daniel knocked on the small apartment above the garage. Maya opened the door, wary. I came to apologize, Daniel said, holding out a small bottle of cough syrup for what happened earlier. I saw the footage. You were protecting Olivia. My wife's accusations were unfounded. Maya's expression was unreadable. She's trying to get rid of me, she said softly. Because I know something she doesn't want you to know. Daniel's gaze sharpened. Is that so? Maya didn't answer, but the silence between them said enough. I'd like you to stay, Daniel said after a moment. Olivia needs you, and I need to know the truth. Maya hesitated, then nodded faintly. I'll think about it. As he left, Daniel's mind was no longer on the argument in the garden. It was on the shadow of betrayal that had just crept into his home. Daniel barely slept that night. The image of Maya, dripping wet and shivering under the weight of Evelyn's accusations, kept replaying in his mind alongside the butler's hesitant words about Richard Hale. By dawn, his decision was made. He needed answers, and not the ones his wife would give him. The estate was quiet in the early hours. Daniel sat at the kitchen table, sipping black coffee as the first light of day filtered through the tall windows. He was still in his robe when Thomas entered, carrying a small leather folder. Sir, the butler said softly, I've made discreet inquiries, as you asked, about Mr. Hale and Mrs. Bington. Daniel gestured for him to continue. Thomas opened the folder and slid across a few photographs. Daniel's jaw clenched. The pictures were grainy but unmistakable. Evelyn and Richard seated close together in a dimly lit lounge, her hand resting on his knee. Another, the two of them leaving the hotel side entrance well past midnight. Daniel closed the folder slowly. Thank you, Thomas. Not a word of this to anyone, especially not Maya. I understand, sir, Thomas replied. But if I may, Mrs. Williams is a good woman. What happened yesterday was wrong. Daniel didn't respond immediately. He was thinking of Olivia's wide, trusting eyes. The baby didn't understand the storm swirling around her, but she felt it. Children always did. By mid-morning, Daniel found himself walking the path toward the garage apartment. He knocked, and after a moment, Maya opened the door. She looked better than last night, dry clothes, hair loosely tied back, but there was still a guarded weariness in her eyes. Mr. Bington, she said, her tone formal. I know you probably don't want to see me, he began, but I need to talk. Maya stepped aside, allowing him in. The apartment was modest, a small sofa, a neat kitchenette, and a few framed photos on the shelf, one of a smiling teenage boy. Daniel noticed her glance toward the picture before she turned back to him. I've been thinking about what you said last night, he continued. That Evelyn is trying to get rid of you because of something you know. Maya's expression tightened. I didn't want to get involved, but now, after what she did yesterday, I think you deserve to know. She took a breath, steadying herself. 2 nights ago, I was coming through the side hall to get Olivia's bottle. I heard voices, laughing, and then I saw her. Evelyn with Mr. Hale. They didn't see me at first. She was in a slip and he had his hands on her. I left before they noticed, but she caught sight of me just before I turned the corner. I knew then she'd find a way to push me out. Daniel's hands curled into fists at his sides. Richard Hale has been my friend for 20 years, he said quietly. I trusted him like a brother. I'm sorry, Maya said, and he believed she meant it. He forced a measured breath. I don't want you to leave. In fact, I need you here closer to Olivia than ever. But for that to work, you'll have to be careful. Evelyn can't know that I'm aware of anything. Not yet. Maya hesitated. That means I'd have to see her every day, work under her glare, knowing she's looking for any excuse to ruin me. I'll protect you, Daniel said, his tone leaving no room for doubt. And when the time comes, she won't be able to touch you. Something in his voice, calm but edged with steel, made her believe him. All right, she said finally, for Olivia. Later that day, the house was alive with its usual rhythm, the clatter of the kitchen staff, the hum of the vacuum in the east wing, the muffled chatter of gardeners outside. Maya returned to her duties, moving quietly through the nursery. Olivia was awake, lying in her crib with wide, curious eyes. Maya smiled softly, lifting her into her arms. From the doorway, Evelyn watched, her lips curved into a saccharine smile. Well, still here, I see, she said, stepping into the room. I suppose my husband believes in second chances. I don't. Maya kept her tone even. I'm here to do my job, Mrs. Bington. That's all. Evelyn tilted her head, eyes narrowing. We'll see about that. One mistake and you're gone. The tension was thick, but Maya said nothing. She focused on Olivia, humming softly until the baby's eyelids grew heavy. Evelyn lingered a moment longer as if hoping for a slip before finally sweeping out of the room. That evening, Daniel hosted a small dinner in the formal dining room, just the family and Richard Hale. Maya, serving discreetly alongside Thomas, kept her head down but her ears open. Richard laughed easily, as if the last few nights hadn't happened, as if he hadn't been caught on camera with another man's wife. Evelyn, resplendent in emerald silk, touched his arm lightly when she spoke to him, her eyes bright with something Daniel could now see for what it was. He watched them both carefully, speaking little, his mind working. He wasn't ready to confront them, not yet, but every moment, every glance was evidence. And when the moment came, he intended to destroy them both. After the guests left, Maya passed Daniel in the hall. He gave the barest nod, just enough to let her know he'd seen what she saw, that they were on the same side now. In her small apartment later, Maya sat with a mug of tea, the day's events replaying in her mind. She thought of the boy in the photograph, the son she had lost years ago to illness, and of Olivia's tiny hand gripping her finger earlier that day. For the first time since taking this job, she felt something like purpose. Down in his study, Daniel poured himself a drink, but didn't touch it. Instead, he opened the leather folder Thomas had given him and stared at the photographs inside. Betrayal burned in his chest, but he kept his face calm. This was a game now, and he intended to win. Somewhere upstairs, Evelyn laughed light and careless as she spoke on the phone. Daniel recognized the tone. She thought she was untouchable. She was wrong. The next morning dawned with a sky the color of steel, heavy with the promise of rain. Maya woke early, nerves already tight. She had agreed to stay for Olivia's sake, but every hour under Evelyn's roof felt like walking a narrow bridge over fire. She dressed in her plain uniform, pinned her hair back, and made her way to the nursery. Olivia greeted her with a sleepy smile, and for a moment, the tension faded. Maya cradled the baby, whispering softly, "You're the only reason I'm still here." Downstairs, Daniel was already in his study when Thomas entered with a tray of coffee. "She's calling Mr. Hale again," the butler said quietly. "It's becoming a habit." Daniel's jaw tightened, but he only replied, "Good. Let her think I'm blind. The longer she believes that, the better." He took a slow sip, his mind running through the plan, forming in pieces each day. He wasn't ready to confront Evelyn. He needed more evidence that couldn't be explained away. Proof that would end both her lies about Maya and her sham of a marriage. Late that morning, Evelyn summoned Maya to the East Terrace. The request came through another maid, her tone sharp and hurried, as if Evelyn's words had stung her too. Maya carried Olivia in her arms, the baby content. Evelyn was seated beneath the white pergola, a breakfast spread in front of her, untouched. Richard Hale sat across from her, leaning back with the ease of a man too comfortable in another man's home. His gaze flicked over Maya, a small smirk tugging at his mouth. "Well, look who's still here," Evelyn said, her voice lilting, but her eyes cold. "My husband insists on giving you another chance." However, wait, could this secret ruin everything for Evelyn? Tune in to find out, only on BUP Stories. "Don't," she finished. Maya kept her expression neutral, though her grip on Olivia tightened. The air grew heavy, but she refused to break. This was about survival now, and she wouldn't let Evelyn win. The battle lines were drawn, and with each passing day, the truth inched closer to the surface. Would justice prevail, or would Evelyn's lies bury them all? Stay with BUP Stories to see the stunning conclusion.